Right, hello lovely people, hello from isolation land. As promised, here's a little video just to kind of point you in the right direction and talk you through all of the protein information that you'll need for this week's template. And just so you are aware, all of my resources you will be able to find in that source. So the protein PowerPoint, if you pop into assignment 3, and then you'll find the protein PowerPoint that I'm going to flick you through in there, and then back into the resources folder. Again, it's underneath assignment 3, template 3, and so you've got the template which I'll be running through during this video, and then a bit like I handed out in class for carbohydrates, if you do want to put all of your notes into a grid system before you then apply it to the template, you've got that resource available for you there as well. Okay, yeah, so it's all about protein this week. So I'll just run you through. So you've got here, if you actually click on this, I won't film the video, that seems a bit pointless. But this video is quite interesting because it will actually take you through and show you just the sheer volume of food that somebody such as this performer, a world's strongest man, would actually consume. So it's an interesting and a bit of a jaw-dropping watch. So definitely one to kind of to think about, and also really useful thinking about the long term. If you're going to be gearing your 2-week food plan for somebody, e.g. you, that is perhaps a power performer or enjoys going up to the gym, then there's some kind of useful info that you, if you wanted to, you could incorporate into your diet. Okay, so yeah, about proteins, some of this info you would have already written about on that key terminology assignment, so some of that information on that screen will seem familiar. So as before with the carbohydrates, it's a case of pulling it over but not forgetting to explain it this time, because this template does carry with it merit level 2. And then we're just going to go in, and you'll be able to read for yourself, but into a little bit more detail. So you've got 8, for example, 8 amino acids, which are the essential ones that your body can't make. So it relies on you eating the other proteins to be able then to synthesize and kind of yield and get the other proteins from, essentially. So yeah, the essential ones are the ones that you need to intake via your diet, and then you've got non-essential ones which you can synthesize through consuming a nice, healthy, balanced diet. So you've got lots of info there about the key role of proteins. Again, you would have introduced that on the key terminology side of things, but just kind of read through those and remember that you're explaining it in more detail. You could link it to a sports performer too, just to kind of pad out your example there. And then you've got the kind of energy values. And then it's quite interesting there, the excess protein, it can't be stored in your body. So you can think back and link back to my lovely P2 for poo video. So if you are eating an awful lot of protein, such as you would have watched in the World's Strongest Man video, if it's not being used, then your body's just going to have to get rid of it. So you get people going around with the protein shakes, and they perhaps don't necessarily even go up to the gym, or if they do go to the gym, their workout's very minimal, and those protein shakes tend to be almost a kind of a bit of a statement. Oh, look at me, I drink protein shakes. And in actual fact, all they're largely going to do is drink it, and then when the call of nature comes, they'll just have to excrete it because they're not really using it. So yeah, proteins again. So as well as having your essential and non-essential proteins, the kind of food categories come into two different cases. So you've got complete foods, and you can see the list there, and then you've got your incomplete foods. Okay, so loads of food examples, and moving forward as well, this PowerPoint will be useful when you're coming up with your own food plans. So if your food plan were to focus on protein, then this is a good place to come for some initial ideas. And then largely all of your first class or complete proteins, most of those, as you can see from the previous slide, come from animals. And then foods that are lacking in one or more of the essential amino acids are known as the second class or incomplete proteins. So I'm not going to harp on about it, but many of you will now know that for this last year I've kind of turned vegan. And this slide always kind of points to the question, well, why are you just kind of relying on non-essential or amino acids that don't carry all of the essential amino acids? But fear not, because what you are able to do by doing a little bit of maths is you can combine two lots of incomplete proteins, which will then go on to make a complete protein. So as long as you are making sure that you do have like a nice mix and a range, then have no fear, I'm not missing out in terms of my diet, just in case you were worried, because I know some of you might be. So that's a PowerPoint for you to kind of look through in your own time. And then I'll just bring up for you to go through the template. Very similar, and it will be the same when we come on to fats. Very similar format, so you've just handed in this week the carbohydrate side of things. So you need to give the overview of proteins, impact on sports performance, description and explanation of the two different categories, info on complete and incomplete, link to kind of normative data, so explaining how much protein people should actually be having. And then you're going to compare that. So once again, you're using your MyFitnessPal information, using a screenshot to highlight evidence that you've been collecting genuine data. And then it's the idea of perhaps suggesting then if they're lacking in protein, or on the flip side, if they're having too much protein, what they should actually be doing to get back on track with that. Okay, and hopefully all of that makes sense. And what I'll look to do, again, in terms of a deadline for you all, I'll leap it over, so I'll have another Monday deadline for this, purely because I'm not around physically on the Friday to check over info for you. So it's going to be due, and I'll put that as a smart target for you all. It's going to be due on the 7th of December, okay? And I'll set up a forms link so you can do SharePoint once you've got some work that you might want me to check. And then I'll whack a smart target onto Pro Portal for you as well, just in case you're getting confused with all of the deadlines. All right, I hope all of that makes sense. I won't be delivering a live lesson on Friday, but I will have my phone on me and we'll be checking emails throughout the day. So if you do have any queries, excuse me, feel free to drop me a line via email or message on Teams as well, and I'll endeavour to get back to you and give you a hand. Okay, and then looking forward to seeing you all face to face next Friday, so Friday the 4th. Okay, take care, bye.